there were certain things that he probably wanted to come and speak to me about, but because he couldn't see me dealing with it peacefully, he wouldn't come and speak to me. He'd come and speak to his mum about it. So you just...
You know what, Skanks? What would co-parenting, obviously, in the ideal world, you would love for your son to grow up, get married, have a happy life, one dog, one cat, maybe, all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But in the real world, we know this thing, it can happen to anyone. What advice would you give your son if he was ever going through a similar situation to you? What are some of the main things you would tell him to do, how to go about co-parenting?
Talk to me. Talk to me. If I've got any advice, talk to me, because the stress from that co-parenting thing comes from so many different angles. Sometimes it could be the stress of the fact that he may not be financially stable, or they might not be financially stable, but there's a baby in the situation that needs A, B, C, D, and E. By you coming to speak to me, you may get the finances from me, but you can stand on your own 2 feet as a man, and she ain't got to know that it's coming from your dad or whatever else it is. And you can navigate through some of these situations, and it can become less strenuous, as well as you trying to find a way to be able to, do you know what I mean? Because it's when you're trying to find the money to do certain things. Let's just use finance as an example. You're trying to find the money to do certain things, as well as the other it can become very hard. So again, opening your mouth and coming to speak to me about these things, I could somewhat navigate you through, I feel like, the majority of these situations. Like I said, I never had the outlet. I can be the outlet for you though.
And I think, you know what, as a father, the way I try to parent my children, I think in the end, that's the ultimate goal for me, It's just my children wanting to come and speak to me. Because that's the only way you can really do your job. When it gets to those crunch time years, when shit can really go left or right, that's the years where your child might come in from school, everything all right? Yeah, good. And these times they've got so much things brewing under the surface, you don't even know. So that's the time. Now, obviously, my kids talk too much, to be honest with you. But like when they get to a certain age, when they get to those teenager years where, as I said, it's crunch time, that's when you really want them to come and open up to you, because I feel like I can do my job then. I can't do my job if your mouth is shut, because if you say there's nothing wrong with you, then okay, cool. I can't get it out of you. If you don't want to speak, I can't force you to speak. But if your child's got things going on and they're not expressing them, then it's an issue.
It's just being an open book though, because again, like I said, as much as we could want our children to be open and expressive towards us, to speak to us about certain things, a lesson that I learned over the past couple of years, I would say, is the fact that my son didn't see me. As much as we were tight and we were cool and we were close, but because of how I reacted in certain situations, like I said, my temper being a major thing for me, there were certain things that he probably wanted to come and speak to me about, but because he couldn't see me dealing with it peacefully, he wouldn't come and speak to me. He'd come and speak to his mum about it. So you just have to, again, as much as we want these things or whatever, we have to look at ourselves from their standpoint and say, "Raw,
would I want to come and speak to you? Yeah. Would I want to come and speak to you myself? Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's just it. Like I said, I learned a valuable lesson, because again, what he wanted to speak to me about was cool. There was nothing that I would have been vexed or steamy about, but because of the perception he had of me when I dealt with other situations, made him believe that he couldn't speak to me about those situations. So again, it's just about making sure that we are the person we need to be.
So Skanks, what would your advice be to dads out there, men out there who are going through it right now with their other halves, who feel like they're hitting a brick wall, who feel like they can't get on the same page as their missus? What are give us 2 or 3 pointers, like major pointers, where you feel is key to solving some of the conflict?
One of the first things that I would probably say, if I could bullet point 3 points maybe, is, like I said, in regards to the communication thing, I think trying to communicate respectfully is one of the most important things. One of the most important things, communicating honestly and respectfully, because again, like I said, sometimes we're not seeing eye to eye. People find it hard to keep a level of respect. Do you see what I'm saying, with each other? So trying to communicate respectfully. If that isn't the case in regards to your situation, I would always try to say find somebody who can mediate in your situation, whether it be family member, friend, flipping counsellor, or whoever it may be that you need to go and see in order to seek this help, or whatever else it is, in order for you to get the best you can out of co-parenting and your situation as you, or you as a parent, doing the best you can, trying to find other avenues to either just communicate or to be a parent, you know what I mean? So again, mediation, respect, and it's hard to say, bro, and I'm thinking about it and it's making me think, but just always stay with your intentions. If your intentions are to be a great dad and be there for your child or whatever else it is, as bumpy as the road may be at times, stick with it. That's all I can really say. It's hard. There's no advice for dealing with your emotions in regards to wanting to be a good dad. There isn't no golden words that make everything feel better, to be honest with you. But stick by doing that. Try your best to communicate amicably, and if not, mediation will be definitely, those three for me is somewhat everything. Like I said, who that mediator is going to be key in regards to how it all pans out. But those are my three for me.
Appreciate that, man. I hear that.
Yeah, it's good.
That's very powerful, man. But yes, guys, we've come to another episode of Dads Divulge. Before we go, Skanks, where can people follow you? Where can people see what you're doing? What have you got coming up in the future?
So obviously, award-winning dating debates and all of these things, Listener's Choice Podcast and all of these things, 2020-21. Every Sunday at 9:30 on Instagram Live via @Mr. Dirty spelled DURRTY. Like, screenshot the plaque if you need to, people. That's okay. I don't mind.